Hello, students. So, I welcome you all to the second lecture of chapter number 5, that is playing with numbers. So, in the last class, our last topic was how to form any three digit number with given three digits, right? So, moving on to next topic, that is finding the hidden digits. Suppose that you are to add, multiply, or subtract two given numbers, and suppose some of the digits are of any of the numbers are replaced by any alphabet. So, how will you recognize them? Which alphabet will take which value? Right. So, for that, you have to remember some rules. That is, first one is, in each puzzle, a letter will stand for only one digit. That is, a letter can have only one value in the same puzzle. Suppose we are given an alphabet, say P. So P will have only one value, right? It can't have more than one values in that particular question, right? That is our first rule. In the second rule says that you cannot have zero in the starting positions of a digit. For example, let us say you cannot write 75 as 075 or 0075, right? And just for your sake of simplicity, we will be solving these questions with hit and trial method, that we will try to substitute various values for a given alphabet. Let us take some example. We will take three cases, one for addition, one for subtraction, and one for multiplication. Suppose we have to add 62 to some number whose tens place is B and units place is A, and the result which we are getting is 96. So what can be the value of A such that when 2 is added to that A, we get 6 in the units place? So clearly you can see that if you add 4 to 6, 4 to 2, right, you will get 6 in the answer in units place, right? In the same way, if you add 3 to 6, right, which means if you substitute B equals to 3, so you will get 9 in tens place, right? So let us go to subtraction part. Suppose we have given two numbers. One BC is to be subtracted from A35, right? So what value will you select for A, B, and C? We will start from units place always, right? So what will you subtract from 5 so that the result will be 3 in units place? See, we can say we can subtract 2, right, from 5. If we subtract 2 from 5, we will get 3 in the units place. In the same way, what will you subtract from 3 so that you will get 7 at tens place? As you can clearly see that you can never get 7 if you substitute any values of B from 1 2 or 1 or 2. If you substitute B as 1 or 2, you cannot get 7, right? So you have to think of something else, like can I write 3 as 13, right, which we usually do in subtraction. We take up uh, 10 from your hundredth place, right? So it will become 13. So what can we subtract from 13 so that our result will be 7, right? So we can subtract 6, right? From 13 we can subtract 6 so that our result will be 7. Now you have to think of some value of A such that if you subtract 1 from the result, you will get 6 in the answer, keeping this thing in mind that you already took 1 as carry up for 3, right? So by inspection we can see that a will have a value of 8, right? If you subtract 1 from 8, right, you will get 7, but we already took 1 as carry over on 3, right? So that's why a will be 8. After that, after carrying 1 to 3, a will remain 7, and if you subtract 1 from 7 you will get 6. So we can say that a will be 8, b will be 6, and c will be 2. Moving on to next, in the case of multiplication, right, if you multiply a number, say ab by 6, the result you are getting is 21b, right? So you can see that uh, b can take three values, either it will be 2 or 4 or 6, right, but not all of them. Let's see which value will support for b. So if you multiply 2 and 6, you will get 2 in the units place, right, and 1 will be carried over. And if what must be multiplied to a, so that if you add 1 to the result you will get 21. So you can see that there is no number with which 6 will be multiplied, and if still 1 is added to the result you won't get 21, right? So 2 will be rejected. In the same way, if we see that what if we multiply 4 with 6, we will get 4 at units place and 2 will be carried over. So what must be multiplied with 6, so that if we add 2 to it we will get 21. Clearly again you can see that there is no such number with which you will multiply 6 and add 2 to get 21. So we will move ahead and we'll multiply 6 with 6, right? We will get 6 6 is 36, or 6 times 6 is 36, and 3 will be carried over. Now if you multiply 6 with 3 you will get 18, and if you add 18 and 3 you will get 21, right, which is our required number. So a will be 3 and b will be 6. I hope this example is clear to you. Moving on to next, we will see that there are some properties of square numbers. And what are square numbers? Suppose if we multiply a given number, say 3 by itself, we'll get 9. This 9 is known as squared number. When a number is multiplied by itself and the result that we get after that is known as square numbers, right? So there are some set of rules regarding these square numbers, and they are: at the units place you will always get 0, 4, 1, 5, 6 or 9 after squaring a given number. For the sake of example, if we square 13, or if we multiply 13 with 13, we will get 169, and you can clearly see that at units place you are getting 9. Let us consider another example. If we square 15, 15 times 15, that is 225. Again you are getting 5 at units place, right? So you will always have 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9 in the units place. Moving on to next rule, next property. See, square numbers can have only even number of zeros, right? Suppose as you can see in the example, if we multiply 10 by 10 we will get 100, and the number of zeros are even, that is 2. The same way you can multiply any number, you can square any number. Suppose that we are squaring this number 1000, what you will get is 1 and 6 times 0, right? So you will always get even number of zeros when you square a number, right? And next and last rule is that the square root of any even number is always even, and that of an odd number is always odd, right? So you can see that the square root of 64 is 8, 64 is also even, and 8 is also even. And the same way you can say that 81, square root of 81 is 9, 81 is also even, 81 is odd, and 9 is also odd, right? So that's why we can say that square root of any even number is always even, and that of an odd number is always odd. Moving on to next, there are some set of divisibility rules by which you can say whether a given number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So let's first of all see whether a given number is divisible by 2 or not, or how will you see, how will you check whether a given number is divisible by 2 or not. You just have to remember that if at units place, if at units place the digit is even, then our whole number will be divisible by 2. For example, this 18,546 is divisible by 2 just because at units place we have 6, and 6 is divisible by 2. That's why this 18,546 is divisible by 2. See students, you don't have to remember the reason that why did this thing happened, or why is this happening. Just go through the reasons once, right? So let's consider any 3-digit number, say xyz. See, so we can we write xyz as 100x plus 10y plus z, right? So we can see that 100x is divisible by 2, right? We can write this 100x as 2 into 50x, right? Which is divisible by 2 obviously, because 2 is a factor of 100, right? In the same way we can write, we can say that 10y will also be divisible by 2. Why? Because we can write 10y as 2 into 5y, where 2 is a factor of 2, so this 2 will be divisible by 2. That's why this whole term is divisible by 2, right? So for the number, for the last digit, that is z, to be divisible by 2, z must take a value from 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8, right? Let's see whether number is divisible by 3 or not. So to check whether a number is divisible by 3 or not, just remember that the sum of digits of the given number must be divisible by 3, right? If the sum of digits of our given number is divisible by 3, then only our number will be divisible by 3. For example, this 84,672 is divisible by 3 because if we add the digits of this number, that is if we add 8, 4, 6, 7 and 2, we will get 27, and 27 is divisible by 3, right? Because 3 is a factor of 27, and factor of a given number divides the number completely. Or if you want to simplify this 27 more further, you can write 27 as 2 plus 7, which is 9, which is also divisible by 3, right? As I told you earlier, the reason stated here is not compulsory to memorize, but what you have to memorize is, what you have to remember is, how will you check whether a number is divisible or not? Just go through the reason once. Okay, so again let us consider any three digit number. Let's say PQR, right? You can take any four digit or five digit number also, but just for the sake of simplicity I'm taking a three digit number. Say PQR, right? So PQR can be written as 100p plus 10q, right? And this 100p can be written as 3 into 99. Right, this 100 can be written as 99 plus 1, and we can write 99 as 3 into 33. Right, there is a mistake over here, so I'm really sorry. 3 into 33 plus 1, right? And into p. And in the same way we can write 10 as 3 into 3 plus 1 whole times q, whole multiplied by q. So after opening the brackets, what you will get is 3 into 33 times p plus p, right? Plus 3 times 3q plus q plus r. If you take 3 common, you will get 33p plus 3q plus p plus q plus r. Clearly you can see that 3 times 33p plus 3q is divisible by 3, right? So p plus q plus r must also be divisible by 3 for the number to get divided by 3, right? So let's keep it till here. In the next class uh, we will most probably finish the chapter and see other divisibility rules. See you guys in next class. Thank you.